Hey guys, welcome back to Reflect Politics. My name is Brendan Plank. Scott Bessent, Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, was sent out to the Sunday talk shows to try to calm Americans' fears about the $6 trillion in market losses that occurred over the past few days after Donald Trump imposed his tariffs on the world. And I've got to say, Scott Bessent here does a terrible job at trying to make Americans comfortable.
The markets lost more than $6 trillion in value. Was this disruption always part of the plan, Mr. Secretary?
Look, Chris, markets are organic, animals, and you never know what the reaction's going to be. One thing that I can tell you as the Treasury Secretary, what I've been very impressed with is the market infrastructure, that we had record volume on Friday, and everything is working very smoothly, so the American people, they can be very take great comfort in that. And in terms of the market reaction, look, we get these short-term market reactions from time to time. The market consistently underestimates Donald Trump. I remember that in 2016, the night President Trump won, the market crashed. And it turned out he was going to be the most pro-business president in over a century, maybe in the history of the country, and we went on to very high after inflation returns for the next 4 years.
President Trump promised that he was going to improve the economy starting on day one. He said prices are going to come down. More than 160 million Americans, Mr. Secretary, as you know, are invested in the market. Many of them have spent their lives saving for their retirement. What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
Well, Kristen, I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think they don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. And, in fact, most Americans don't have everything in the market. Most Americans in a 401k have what's called a 60-40 account. That 60 of 40 accounts, they are down 5 or 6% on the year. People have a long-term view. They have a program that the reason the stock market is considered a good investment is because it's a long-term investment. If you look day to day, week to week, it's very risky. Over the long term, it's a good investment.
Bessent there saying Americans can take great comfort in the market infrastructure because of the volume of trades on Friday. But the volume of trades on Friday were so high because people were freaking out about the tariffs. I mean, how stupid does Scott Bessent think the American people are? I think that kind of speaks to the position that he's in, just between a rock and a hard place. It's actually being, rumors are being thrown out there now that Scott Bessent wants out because he did warn Donald Trump about these tariffs and what the market reaction would be. But yet we heard him there say that the markets are organic animals and you never know what the reaction is going to be. But of course, we have video of Kamala Harris during the debates before the election warning us of what would happen if Donald Trump was elected president.
Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
So of course we knew what the organic animal was going to do, Scott. You yourself don't even believe what you're saying, and you can really tell, which is wild that Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. His whole job was to go out there and answer this question, and it went terribly. He probably practiced this over and over again, and yet it still took him 5 seconds to talk about the market volume and market infrastructure, and then stutter and pause before saying that Americans should be comfortable. He also went on to talk about how Americans don't look at the stock market day to day, but you better believe that they have been looking at the stock market minute to minute because their retirement plans are in jeopardy, Mr. Bessent. How stupid does he think Americans are? Bessent also brought up the markets crashing in 2016 after Donald Trump was elected, and that was because Barack Obama had set up an economic agenda and policies to strengthen the United States economy from the middle out, and Donald Trump threatened those economic policies. That's why his response to COVID destroyed everything. And yet Bessent wants to talk about how Donald Trump was the most pro-business president because of the after-inflation returns throughout the first few years of Donald Trump's first term. Of course, Republicans, MAGA enthusiasts, Trump spokespeople, they love to forget about the last year and a half of the Trump administration, the first Trump term. They love to just white out COVID when we were facing depression-like levels, when businesses were shuttered because of Donald Trump's response to COVID. Delusional here. Completely delusional. And it's just a reminder that Donald Trump is a con man surrounded by cabinet officials who are con men and women, con people, and Bessent is a terrible con person. So we'll see if Bessent will actually last or hang on to the Treasury Department secretary position, or if he is going to get out of here before the shit really hits the fan. Let me know what your reflections are on Scott Bessent's comments today. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to Reflect Politics if you are not a subscriber yet. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for leaving your reflections. Thanks for subscribing. My name is Brendan Plank. Hope to see you in the next video.